On May 12, 2017, something began spreading across the internet at terrifying speed. Computers in hospitals, companies, factories, and government organizations suddenly started displaying the same message. Their files had been encrypted, and a ransom had to be paid in Bitcoin to get them back. The malware was called WannaCry, and within hours, it had reached computers across the globe. But WannaCry wasn't just another piece of ransomware. What made it so dangerous was its ability to spread automatically from one vulnerable computer to another. It didn't need a victim to click a suspicious link every time. Once inside a network, it could search for other vulnerable machines and continue spreading like a digital chain reaction. At the heart of the attack was a Windows vulnerability known as Eternal Blue. The exploit had reportedly been developed by the US National Security Agency, but it was later leaked online by a group called the Shadow Brokers. Microsoft had already released a security patch for the vulnerability, but millions of computers around the world had not been updated. That gap gave WannaCry an enormous opening. When the attack began, the consequences were immediate. The UK's National Health Service was among the hardest hit organizations. Hospitals and medical facilities were forced to cancel appointments and redirect patients because computers and essential systems had become inaccessible.
Businesses in countries around the world were also disrupted, including major companies such as Telefonica and FedEx. In just a short period, WannaCry had demonstrated how one unpatched vulnerability could become a global crisis. Then, something unexpected happened. A young British cybersecurity researcher, known online as Malwaretech, was analyzing a sample of WannaCry. While examining the malware, he noticed that before continuing its attack, the program attempted to connect to a strange, previously unregistered web domain. Curious, he registered the domain himself. Almost immediately, the global spread of WannaCry slowed dramatically. He had accidentally activated what became known as the malware's kill switch. It wasn't a sophisticated cyber defense operation. It was essentially an overlooked mechanism inside the malware that allowed someone to stop its execution under certain conditions. But the story wasn't over. Security researchers discovered additional versions of WannaCry that did not rely on the same kill switch, showing that the underlying vulnerability was still a serious threat. The attack eventually affected hundreds of thousands of computers in more than 150 countries, making WannaCry one of the most disruptive ransomware outbreaks in history. The damage wasn't simply about lost files. It exposed how dependent modern society had become on interconnected computer systems and how dangerous outdated software could be.
WannaCry also demonstrated the consequences of keeping powerful hacking tools secret. Eternal Blue had been kept as a cyber weapon, but after it leaked, criminals were able to turn it against ordinary organizations around the world. In the end, WannaCry was stopped not by a single powerful security system, but by a combination of an existing software patch, cybersecurity researchers, and one incredibly lucky discovery. The lesson was brutally simple. In cybersecurity, a vulnerability doesn't have to remain secret forever, and when it finally escapes into the wild, the consequences can travel much faster than anyone expects.